Hello, welcome back to Zodiac Trader, guys. Today we're going to look at the very important concept when we're trading. And if you want to learn about economics, I think this number is a must learn. It really helps you to understand labor market. And in today's video, I'm going to share about my perspective on this particular concept called JOLTs, and I'm going to explain the definition as well as the function of this indicator and how and why I think this is a lagging data and Joe's number doesn't really always reflect what really happened in the job market. And I would say it's a very important tool, but it's far from perfect. So today we're going to talk at JOLTs, which represents the job opening and labor turnover survey. That means JOLTS. It's a monthly report by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS. So in this survey, it consists more than 20,000 businesses and government office to estimate the number of U.S. job vacancies, hires, and separations, including the monthly job report. So if you really want to check what's happening, you can go to the BLS.com. You can go and find these U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, and then you can find all the JOLTS data here, and you can look at the news release and see if there's anything that happened lately in the section. So here, this is the latest summary. It was established on Thursday of January 18, 2024. So this is the actual report and where you can find the entire file of the data. So now let's look at the basic definition of the JOLTs. So JOLTs is very important because in this indicator help us to understand the job market from the demand side. Okay, so every time when you want to know about the job market, how many like companies are actually hiring people, you want to go through these data, and it is very important for international economists and traders to understand the financial market, and also the Fed officials are using these data to judge if the employment market is working well and if the economy is actually booming. So there are many things that you should know about JOLTS. First of all, the monthly job reports estimates the U.S. unemployment rate and the monthly change in non-farm payroll. And also non-farm payroll is very important, also a very important concept. And second, the report consists of household survey and used to estimate the employment rate and establishment survey providing data on payroll, hours worked, and earnings. A third, the JOLTS data released on the first Friday of every month of the prior month. The job report gives investor one of the most comprehensive views into the recent state of U.S. economy. And fourth, the earning data is used to assess labor cost pressures, while hours work can be a leading indicator of labor demand. So actually, if you look at the data, it's from the demand side. Okay, so it's a very useful data, but it's not always accurate. So this survey, formerly called as the Current Employment Statistics Survey, and gathers data from 122,000 non-farm businesses and government agency for some 666,000 work sites and one-third of all payroll workers. And from these data, you can also look at the hours worked and the earnings of some of the employees. Okay, so the numbers, very important. are seasonally adjusted to feel out frustration like the annual surge in retail sector for holiday shopping reason and wintertime slowdown in constructions. So these seasonal numbers are very crucial. So the JOLTs data try to eliminate these seasonal data. So it shows the average number of the employment. And non-farm payroll totals are adjusted in each of the 2 month salary, 2 monthly jobs report following the initial release to incorporate additional survey responses and the latest seasonal adjustment factors. You're subject to annual revision benchmarking them to updated counts from employment insurance tax records. So this is how BIS collect the employment data. And they have economists and agents. They make calls and they also do some home visits, video calls, and etc. So how they measure employment, they will use the total number of employed people looking for job by the total number of individuals in the labor force. So how is job report calculated? And calculated from two surveys. One is household survey, which where the employment rate is calculated, and the establishment survey. So you have household survey, more of a practical side, and you have a establishment survey, which is more from a remote side, making calls, making video calls, doing, sampling survey, and that's how you get calculated. And so however, this is a very important data. I wouldn't just say this data there is no use of these data. And I wouldn't say it's a mistake, but I would rather point out that from the text, this is a job opening data. That means what's the definition of job opening? That means if you're HR, you put on the jobs and then you put it on the internet, or maybe you put it on your website, or you put it on the board, and to see if anyone actually qualified for the job and willing to fill the job. So a lot of companies, they are constantly putting these job opening all the time, 24 hours. So the point is, if you have job opening, that doesn't necessarily mean that you get the job. So that's the case. If you have job opening number, that actually shows the company from a more of a demand side are willing to put jobs on the table. But it doesn't really calculate the people who apply for the job and how many people actually finally be able to work in that position. So this is a job opening data, and this is not employment data. So it could be misleading because that just say you have like more than 100 jobs opening, and some jobs that you constantly having people to fill in. For example, if you work in Amazon, those kind of low wage paying job, you always having a lot of hiring, and sometimes you get hired, but then you get like sacked, you get like unemployed very, very quickly. So that's the case. So you're constantly recruiting people, you're constantly hiring, you're constantly firing them. So that doesn't necessarily mean that if you have a large job opening number, that actually a lot of people getting hired. It could mean that a lot of people come to this job, to this position, they worked and they got fired. And then, or if we look at the more of high paying job, for example, in the finance sector, in the technology sectors, a lot of good and fine paying jobs, they're out there. For example, if you apply for McKinsey, you apply for investment banks, these jobs opportunities, these job positions are online all the time, most of the times. So what happened is